we can understand the structure and criteria for writing module. Watch out, this video is really important if you're understanding or if you are trying to understand writing module for the first time. This will provide you kind of an introduction plus criteria which most people miss to understand or try not to even understand, or they don't even know if they exist. Alright, so this video gonna provide you everything you need. The first thing is the structure. By structure, I mean what kind of question will be asked, how many questions will be there, and many other things, that are important structure-wise, right? Let's get into it. So it will be third in the module. Now, third in the modules means we have listening, reading, writing, and speaking. It will always be third, right? But it will be last on the same day. Again, we have listening, reading, writing, and speaking. So these exams are taken on a single day, and this will be taken on another day. My point of being third means on the same day, but it will be last on the same day. Now, why is this information important? Because listening test takes around 30 to 40 minutes. Reading test takes around 60 minutes, not around exactly, and if you take the break like 5 more minutes, 65 minutes. Already you have passed around 100 minutes, that's around 1.5 hours or more, and then comes writing. By this time your energy is already over, or you're exhausted, let's say. Your concentration is down, you are feeling uncomfortable or maybe you're feeling like you can't think. So that's what I mean. Writing in here at this moment gonna be a little bit difficult. So watch out. Try to understand that you have to create stamina of concentrating for a longer time. This can be done before exam by practicing. What I mean by practicing is not just practicing kind of questions, but doing 3 of the modules in one go. Hence sitting at one place for more than 2.5 hours. So that will be 2 hours and 45 minutes test, right? The last hour will be writing, and the worst part is it's the most difficult part. Most people can't score well in this part. The average score in writing, people who are getting 7 bands, is 6.5 in writing. If you don't understand what I mean by band here, please watch the introductory video of IELTS. 6.5 bands, a band is not a good score if you're planning to get 8 or 7.5. This can hinder, your target of that band. The reason it is difficult, the reasons are plenty, I would say. The first one is, let's say, our schooling. The school actually is considered the reason for your bad writing skills. We are told that, all right, when you start writing paragraphs, write according to the size. So we write, okay, this is way too long, half page is gone, we should stop it. And again, half page paragraphs, we don't understand the meaning of paragraphs. Secondly, we don't get marks for the structure or the beauty of writing. We just get marks because we wrote correct English, that's it. Moreover, some people just, memorize essays even, and they write in school. That is the problem. Second thing is we are not writing every day. We are just speaking English. So that is also one problem. And the last, for the people who even know both of these, again, practice is not there, because we tend not to understand that this will be useful, right? Okay. So you understand why it is most difficult. 3 reasons, and you can't justify, you can't change anything in your schooling or writing. You can change something in your practice. We'll see how we're gonna do that, okay? Now, next one is number of tasks. There are 2 different tasks which will be provided in exam, and these are report if you're writing for academic, and report will be based on a graphic. You'll be provided one graphic or 2 graphics, and you have to write a report. What kind of report, how much you have to write, don't worry about that, it is coming soon. If you're writing for general training, that means if you're planning to work somewhere or go for immigration, you have to write a letter. So this is for people who are planning to study. You don't understand what is the meaning of academic or general training? Again, please watch the introductory video on IELTS in the same course, you will get the information, right? So in this, you have to write a report, and here we have to write a letter for general training. For task 2, there's no difference. It will be essay for both. Single essay for academic and general training, question will be same. So these are the tasks you have to understand in writing. Moreover, let's see the differences and see, I know why am I providing differences. I'm not providing direct information. I remember when we were in school, we used to understand things better when we used to have this table. Difference between X, Y, Z and A, B, C, some kind of phenomena. It was easier for us to remember and understand, oh, these are the two different things that we have, two things for which we have to understand the difference. So here as well, I try to use that technique and try to help you for understanding the task by showing the differences. Yeah. So here we have task 1 and task 2. So the first thing is time. We'll be getting 20 minutes for task 1 and 40 minutes for task 2. Let me make it clear. There's nothing like you have to follow this rule exactly what they've told. This is recommended time because you'll be given a question paper and answer sheets and you have 60 minutes. You have as much as time you require for any task. That means it's up to you which task you want to go for first, how much time you want to take. This is recommended time. You got it. You'll be getting a question paper in which you will be having task 1 and task 2. You'll be getting 2 answer sheets, answer sheet for task 1 and task 2. But they never say that, okay, start with task 1 or task 2. It's up to you. This is just recommended time, remember. Total is 60 minutes for sure. Second is number of words. Number of words are very strict actually in IELTS. You cannot go below 150 in task 1 and cannot go below 250 in task 2. That is number of words, okay? If you write 149 words even, incorrect. You will get a penalty for that. If you write 249 even, incorrect. I suggest you write more than 150, at least 151 to any number higher. Now see, there is no set upper limit. No one says you cannot write 200 words in task 1, what I mean is. But if you write 200 words here, I don't think you'll get time to write properly in task 2. So the recommended number is 170, 175 maximum. If somebody says that there's a limit for, there's an upper limit for writing number of words, then they're incorrect. They don't know this part. Definitely there is no upper limit, but it is recommended to write 170 to 175. Same goes for task 2. 270 to 275 will definitely do the task. You don't need to write 300 to 400 words. If you have time, there's nothing wrong in that, okay? It's fine. But you cannot go below 250. All right? These are the criteria or the things that you have to take care in number of words in task 1 as well as task 2. Now, types, I think we have seen this already, that you have to write a report and letter. Now, let's see if you can recognize what was report for? General training. No, reports were for academic. Letters were for general training. So people who are planning to go abroad for work, they will be writing letter, and people who are planning to go for education or any kind of study, they have to write a report. So this is related to study. Okay, remember this part. And essay will be same for both of them. Last but not the least is scoring. Okay, this is like the weightage. Out of the 100%, 40% will be accounted for in task 1 in the whole writing test, and 60% will be for task 2. So in case if you couldn't write task 1 at all and you wrote task 2 completely, you'll get score out of 60%. That means 9 out of 9 bands, you will be given 60% of 9 band, and based on that, how you write, you'll get a score. You got my point? So let's say you wrote task 2. That means 9 bands, 60% of 9 bands. If you wrote correctly, you'll get the full 60% of 9 band. If you wrote task 1 correctly, you'll get 40% of 9 band. You got my point, what I mean? And if you wrote both correctly, you'll get full bands. That's very rare though. Getting 9 in writing is really difficult, okay? All right. Moving ahead, we have some of the no-nos, or you can't do these things. These are the cautions, troubles in writing. Watch out for these things, important, because if you know what not to do, what is left is what to do. Okay, so the first thing is you cannot go off topic. Your response cannot be off topic. So what I mean by is you have a question, right? Question asks about global warming and you talk about earth preservation. Not a good idea, because they ask about global warming, not preservation. That's called going off topic. You cannot do that. You'll get deduction for that. I know this is an English test, but they have asked you a question. And if you write off topic, that means you don't know what the question means. That means you don't know English indirectly, right? You got the point. Next one is underlength. We have discussed this in detail when we were discussing the tasks. So if you remember, for task 1, how many words are there? 150 minimum. For task 2, 250 minimum. That means we have to write more than 150 here, more than 250. If you write below that, you'll be considered as underlength. You cannot do that. At least these are the technical mistakes you can ignore, right? Then we have bullet points. Some of you must be asking, can I write essays like this, or the letters, in points? My first sentence, my second sentence, my third sentence, and fourth. No, this was working in your school, not in essays or letters, and not in IELTS at all. If you write this way, you'll definitely not get the score that you wanted. Alright, so don't write any bullet points or numbering, 1, 2 like you do in Microsoft Word. You cannot. You have to write in form of paragraphs. Okay, good. The last one is you cannot have a memorized answer, or you cannot copy from anywhere, from even the question paper or anywhere. You cannot have any of these. They are checked for plagiarism. That is checking if you have copied from somewhere. And if you try to memorize online and you just, copy paste it somewhere in the answer, that will be considered incorrect, or you will get penalty for that. All right. So these are the no things that you have to take care. You shouldn't ever do these things. I know other things are also there, like criteria, but these things, at least you can, just by knowing, you will take care of them. So I had to mention these things. Now comes the answer sheet. You should know what kind of answer sheet you'll be given. Is it blank? Has it lines? Or is it, just the boxes or whatever it is? You should know how it looks like, and this is how it looks like. For task 1, this is the page 1. So on top, you'll be mentioned task 1, and you'll become a little less space in this page and something to write for the examiner, not by you. Okay. Not for you, the person who is checking your test. Cool. So you have to write only this part. In exam, you won't get this sample because I've got it from website, official website. You will not get the sample. Only I got the sample. Second one is the second page. Here also you won't get the sample, and also you cannot write below this page, but you get extra space on the top. Now these things here are for official use only, like TA, CC, LR, GRA, off topic, memorize, which we have already discussed. You don't have to worry about this now, but this information is important. In the coming slides, we're going to see what these things are. Some of you are thinking, are they enough for us to write 250 pages? Or 150 words or 250 words? No, they're not enough. You can ask for extra pages. In that, you might not get this thing, exactly mentioned task 1, task 2. You get blank pages. With lines, of course, not with this thing. So that is also there one thing. You don't need to worry about that. You can ask for extra sheets. Okay. Now let's check for task 2. In task 2, you will get similar sheet. Don't worry about the color. It's just, website provided. Same color sheet you will get, white. Earlier was also white. There will be mentioned here task 2, no sample written, and this will always be there. Same goes for page 2, no sample written, and here it will be TR, CC, LR, and GRA. If you notice, there's not much difference from the previous one, Now, what I mean by not much difference is this one will be different. That's it. That is the first one. Earlier it was TA. You see that? TA. So earlier first thing is TA. Now this thing has become TR. That's it. Now what is this TA and what is this TR? We're gonna see soon. And this is what most people generally ignore or don't take care. They say, oh, this is office use only. Why do we care? You should, because this is how they test your paper. So let's say you play a game, right? And you don't know how to win the game. We don't know the rules. If you don't know really the rules, there's no way you can win. Okay, so let's see that first. Criteria is a thing that helps you to understand how they check your paper. By the way, the singular of criteria is criterion. So this is already a plural. We don't need to say criterias. Okay, remember that. Therefore, first one is task achievement or task response. Now you see what I mean by this TA and TR. There's something you saw below the answer sheet. These are the things TA and TR. Why do we have two? Why not one? You know, this is the first criterion. So in that case, I'll explain. In task 1, you're asked to do based on the question. That means you can't go beyond that. You cannot think of your own things. However, in task 2, you're asked to give your pure response. That means everyone's response will be different. With an example, it will get clear. Let's say I asked you, can you go down the same building and get me this book, particular book? So I'll ask you for book XYZ. And if I ask 10 people, in a group, they will get me book XYZ. But if I ask in the same group, can you please surprise me with your favorite book? Do you think they're going to provide me with the same book XYZ? Chances are rare. Same goes here. They'll bring something different, according to their choice. In task 2, you're asked a question for which you have to answer based on your response. What do you think about this kind of question? In task 1, you'll be asked to write something which is already mentioned. You just have to elaborate. That's why it's called task achievement, and here it's called task response. Now, what is covered in this task achievement and response? First thing, the technical part. 150 words in task 1 and 250 words in task 2. That is for sure. You have to take care. Counts in task achievement and response. Second thing, based on the question, if your points are really making sense, for the question, like I said, if it is about global warming and you're writing points about global warming, plus how good these points are. So not just the points or arguments, but the effectiveness, how good these points are matters a lot. So got my point. You understand the question, write according to the question, plus your response is good. Or what they ask for, that is achievement, is good. That's it. Second thing, number of words. These two things are tested in task achievement or task response. Cool. If you didn't understand, you can watch it again. Probably you'll understand. I tried my best to make it as simple as possible. Now, second one, lexical resource. Now, we call it a different way. We call it vocabulary. This is called lexical resource. I'll tell you why they have not chosen vocabulary itself, because there are 3 different things that you have to take care in lexical resource. Number 1 is the quality of the words. You might not have heard what is the quality of a word. In IELTS, we have bands, right? That means your score comes in between 1 band to 9 bands. Highest is 9 and you are targeting for 7 to 8, anything between that, or 8.5, right? But in English, it is created based on CEFR, CEFR, which means Common European Framework, as a reference for languages. So all European languages have this A1, A2, B1, B2, and C1 and C2. I mean, these are the last total 6 structure, or let's say levels they have in any language, which is created in Europe. All the words in English are categorized between A1, A2, B1, B2, and C1, C2. That means here is basic, intermediate, and advanced. So if you use most of the words which are C1, C2, definitely you will get higher bands because they respond to some kind of band. So this is 8.5 to 9 or 8.59. This talk C1, C2 is for this purpose. How do we know this word is C1, C2? Well, for that there are two options. Either you go for the vocabulary course and understand it, which we have provided, or you can go to a website called Cambridge Dictionary. Okay, in this dictionary, what you will get is, if you search a word, okay, on the top there will be a search bar. Click on the search bar and you will get something like a box, empty box. And in here you can type the word itself, right? And when you see in the search result, near the meaning on the left, you will get either A1, A2, B1, whatever it is. I mean, out of the 6 levels, you will get the word meaning or the word quality. There you can get the word quality. Now, for you, I have done a research and I've got 1200 words which are most important, and they are B2, C1, and C2. So 400 each, and we are done. That means it will be enough for us to understand these many words. And I'm going to link the word list below so that you can see and you can understand some of the words. And these are the most important words, most commonly used words in IELTS essays. And how did I find it? Because I read many essays from Cambridge or Oxford or all these official websites. Okay, 1200 words would be more than enough for you. Good. Second thing, apart from quality, we have is appropriateness. What I mean by appropriateness is, let me just clear this up so that we can write stuff here. The first one was quality. Second one is appropriateness. What is this appropriateness? Being appropriate means using the correct word at correct location or correct situation. Let's say, for an example, you are about to have an accident, but you are saved. What word would you use when you come out of that incident? You'll say, I feel good, right? I'm fine now. Instead of this word, what if you use the word I'm relieved, I'm feeling relieved, or I'm feeling blessed? You see, when you use the exact word, you feel like, oh, this is much better than good. That's what I mean using appropriate words. And the last one is synonyms. What happens in synonyms is you cannot use a word and keep repeating it. Let's say in an essay, you have to use a word good. Or let's say positive word happy. We have used good enough word already. Happy has many meanings. Pleasant, delightful, and satisfied, or many words you have for happy. So instead of using just one happy as a word, you can use the synonyms. That will show that you do know many words. So there are 3 things in lexical resource: quality, appropriateness, and synonyms. And I told you how you can find the list of quality words below. That might help you. Okay, all right. Now comes grammatical range and accuracy, that is GRA. Let me explain first the accuracy part, the last part. When I write my name are XYZ, and suddenly in your brain, things start going wrong, like there's something wrong with the sentence. We know it cannot be is. It cannot be are, it must be is. So that's called accuracy. Accuracy means your sentence should be correct grammatically. That's what we call accuracy. Now, when the first condition is being fulfilled, when the sentence is correct grammatically or accurate grammatically, they go to the range. Range means what kind of level you're using in grammar. Are you using just simple sentences? Like earlier one is simple sentence. Or you're using complex sentences, compound sentences, active, passive, direct, indirect, using all the tenses. Plenty of the things are going through, and if you are confused about this, don't worry, we have a whole series on grammar that will cover everything. But for now, please understand, you have to have a range in your grammar. That means if you use just simple sentences, not many connectors, not many conjunctions, you're gonna have trouble. They will consider your grammar as low. Okay? And accuracy is must, because it has to be correct first, then you go to the range. You got my point? And the last but not the least, this is really very important, which most of us either don't know, even if we do know, then we try to ignore it. That is coherence and cohesion. Now, what happens in coherence is we tend to write sentences like, these are the sentences when we write. We never think of the connection between sentences. We think of, I have to provide information. We always think of information. We never think how this information can be connected properly. Right. That is what I mean by coherence, when your sentences are connected. Let me make it clear with an example, of course. So when I say, this is the most dangerous desert of all, and the most poisonous snakes are also found in this desert. Apart from snakes, we can also find spiders, which could kill a person in a single bite. Now you see, what have I done in this thing? You can notice that I talked about desert first as the theme. Then I take the word desert. In this desert you can find snakes. And in later sentence, I use the word snake, not just snakes, but you can find spiders. You see that how connectivity is flowing, how theme is flowing. We have seen a desert. In the desert you can find snakes, not just snakes, you can find spiders. What if I just talk randomly about deserts and snakes and spiders? Won't make any sense. So my logic says, or my simple template says, that we have subject, verb and object. Okay. In next sentence, your object should become the new subject. So this is our O1, which is our S1 now. Then we have a verb and we have object 2. This object 2 can become our subject 2, which is our object 2 from previously. Then we have verb, then we have object 3. What I mean by this, you don't have to change your sentence instantly. But let's say you write two sentences about this object, and then you change it to a new subject. I mean from the object itself. You got my point? It has to be like this. You got what coherence is here? Good. Cohesion actually is connecting sentences or paragraphs using various other words, not the words from the sentence. For an example, there's a restaurant open close to my house. They are new in the town and they want to make it famous. They're throwing a party. This is again information after information. What I need or anyone needs is connectivity. So I can rewrite it using cohesion. There's a restaurant open close to my house recently. And as they want to be famous, they're throwing a party. See that as and these words are connecting one idea with another idea. This is called cohesion. And using these words, you can also connect paragraphs. Well, how are you going to connect paragraphs? We're going to see in the video of paragraphs. Don't worry about that. For now, understand what is the difference between cohesion and coherence.